What's up everybody? Afran here from WARBAITS. Today I have a new video, and in this video it's going to be a little different. This is going to be more of a voiceover video because my main camera rig, the audio did not record. I've been having this issue for a few videos now. The main rig hasn't been capturing the audio. I do use an external mic on that rig, so that's something I need to figure out. It's become quite annoying, and here I am talking to the camera, just blabbering away with no audio. It was a fun one. I accomplished the mission that I set out for myself, and I want to break that down for you guys right now, so let's go ahead and get started. Beautiful morning out here. I'm in La Jolla, California, and I'm set out to catch calico bass and hopefully yellowtail. Those are the goals today, and as you can see, I'm on the kayak. So doing a little something different today. Stretching the legs out, trying to get a little exercise and see if we can sneak up on some of these bigger bass by fishing the kayak. First of all, we're gonna look for some current, and that's gonna determine which way the water's moving. And what's gonna indicate that are the kelp stringers. So they're gonna be falling one way or the other way, or no current, they'll be standing straight up. So we wanna find a little bit of moving water so we can have a better chance to catch those fish. And then we might try the outside a bit and look for a yellowtail. That's kind of that's part of the goal today, catch one on the surface iron. So let's see if we can get into that. I'm pretty pumped to start, so let's go fishing. So I started right here in 20 feet of water, and what made me start here was this kelp stringer. I got out there about mid-high tide, so there was a lot of water moving, and the water was rising and it was covering the kelp stringers. In 20 foot of water, I saw this kelp stringer right here. This was the first piece to the puzzle for the morning. I looked at the current on the kelp stringer and it was going north to south, which is really good for calico bass. So that means it was going down the beach. And with that type of current, you're gonna see a lot of fish staging on these isolated kelp stringers. So it's not a big kelp mat here, but it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 small little kelp stringers. And just seeing the top of them poke out was the indicator that I should fish in this area and hopefully catch one. So I targeted the kelp stringer in a few different angles. And what worked best was actually fishing 90 degrees to the kelp stringer. Instead of bringing it down the lane, I was bringing it across the lane, and I got this big bite right here. The fish ate it super close to the boat. Super stoked. It was a bigger calico. You can see I'm pretty pumped right here. Got this fish on a 1 ounce WARBAITS swim bait head in Ranger color. It's a green and orange combination, and that was with a 5.5 inch swim bait, and the swim bait was also green and orange. So I was matching the hatch right there. Look at that beast, looking good. It's a really nice calico. Stoked to be able to get it in my own backyard of La Jolla. I'm gonna go ahead and get in the water here, get a little underwater shot of that fish. He's gone, just like that. After I caught that fish, I saw that there were a few more of those isolated kelp stringers going more up the beach. So that's what I continued to do. Just kept fishing forward on new batches of isolated kelp stringers to see if I could replicate what I had just done. And I ended up getting a few short biters along the way. So right there I got a bite, they ripped it. So right now they're following it in, and they're gonna hit it right at the boat. Boom, missed him. But stoked anyhow. You can see in this specific area, the water's a little different. It still has that current on those kelp stringers. You can see the kelp stringers in the water, they're at an angle. So there's some current in the water, but it's a lot more calm here. So I tried fishing a little deeper. I let it hit the bottom, and it was quite far. So I'm gonna imagine we were in about 40 feet of water. There you go, you ripped it right off the bottom. So I hit it on the sink basically. Missed him, came off, dropped it back down, and he hit it back on the sink again. It could be the same fish, it could be a different fish, but got him on the sink in this particular spot. Still on the isolated kelp stringer stuff. Smaller bass, 2-pounder. Still using that same WARBAIT, 1 ounce, and that 5.5 inch swim bait. So nice fish, let him go. I changed gears put the Calico stuff away, and started looking for yellowtail. Now, a big problem I had is that my fish finder battery was dead. Even after charging it all night, I didn't check it in the morning. That's my problem. But so I was unable to turn my fish finder on, and I needed that fish finder for depth. I needed to be in 60 to 100 foot of water. And I also needed that fish finder because it has all my spots on it. It has all the spots that I yellowtail fish from the boat. I wanted those spots so that I could see where to fish, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So, kind of old school here, kind of flying blind. No fish finder, no visual cues. I mean, I was chasing a little bit of bird here and there, just keeping an eye on the bird. But the only visual reference I really had was the lobster buoys. From my previous knowledge of yellowtail fishing during lobster season, there's a set of lobster buoys that are in around 100 feet of water. That's kind of what I was giving a gauge to. Okay, this buoy looks shallow here. This is probably 60. This is probably 100. Those buoys way out there are probably 120, 160. So I decided to fish around buoys that I thought were in about 100 feet. So I'm fishing the surface iron, just making long casts and just winding it through. There's no visual cues here. You can see it's flat calm, and really just trying to find a needle in a haystack. This is a Hobie Pro Angler 14. This is the 2019 model. It has the 180 reverse drive. It does not have the 360 drive. This is the goal, is to catch one on this kayak. I'm keeping my eyes open. I'm trying to find any sign of life. And this is the cast. I get a needle in a haystack. So about mid retrieval here, one swipes at it right there, and here they come. Boom. And it's sick when he grabs it. He eats it right at the boat. That's it right there. Stand up fight. Look at the kayak being turned right here. That's a big fish on the kayak. He's pulling the kayak down the beach now. I really want to sit down right here, but I'm trying to keep pressure on the fish so the jig doesn't shake out. I decided to button down the drag a bit because we were in the kayak, so we're going with him. So wherever the fish is swimming, he's going to pull the kayak with him. So the kayak acts like drag. You can button down the reel drag quite a bit. And what I'm thinking here while I'm fighting the fish is I have to watch out for deep kelp stringers, and I also have to watch out for sea lions. And I made pretty quick work of him. I decided he wasn't as big as I thought he was. And here we go. I missed him on that pass. I can see it now. I can see it now. I can grab the jig right here. Get him right in the boat. Stoked. Super stoked. There he is. Holy crap, look at this thing. Not a giant. Oh, dude! Yes! Stoked. Real emotion. Oh, yes! Surface iron, kicker 25 light mint. Dude, got one. You can see how pumped up I am. I mean, to go out there and accomplish a goal, that's huge. That's huge. Dinner, what's up? Not a giant for a yellowtail, but he was probably in the 12 to 15 pound range. Mint right there. That's that same surface iron I was fishing at Cedros Island. So now that surface iron has 13 yellowtail caught on it. And to be honest with you, that knot from the leader to the braid is the same knot I used at Cedros. That clip is the same knot I used at Cedros. I really haven't retied much, and I probably should, but that's a keeper right there. Since I decided to keep the fish, the best thing to do is cut the gills and let the fish bleed out. It's going to ensure that the meat is more clean when you go to prepare it for a meal. So I decided to fish through some more. I mean, I wanted to get another bite. I wanted to get another keeper. So I continued to fish and fished out a little further, fished out a little faster, you know, just kept fishing up and down the beach a bit, and decided it was time to head in. By this time, high tide had peaked, and now the tide was going low, so more of the kelp was being uncovered. So it gave me a little bit more time to calico bass fish, but I noticed there wasn't that much current in the water anymore. So I decided to bail out on that and just make my way back into the shore.
So when I was trying to find out where to fish for those yellowtail, because my fish finder wasn't working, I pretty much went to the furthest lobster buoy that I could see. And that kind of indicated to me that it's probably 100 feet. So, I mean, many of these lobster buoys are set in about 60 to 80. Some go 100, 120, but those couple buoys, that's all there was furthest out. So I wanted to start around 100 foot. I know that's kind of the zone I like to fish yellowtail in this area. It's a steep incline. It's like a ledge for you guys that like bass fish, freshwater fish, or even saltwater fish. It's a ledge. So the ledge goes like 120 to 80 to 60. So on a deeper scale, that's the type of ledge I was fishing. So still fishing the surface iron in that situation. And that's because the water's warm. It's like 70 to 72 degrees right now. Water's still warm. It's still summertime. And you gotta imagine those fish are big and powerful. They can traverse that water column super easy, super fast. They're not a small fish, so they may be cruising at 80 foot, see something at the surface, and go chase it down, blast it. But that's yellowtail fishing. I love it. So good to catch a yellowtail on this kayak. It was a fun fight. Let me go ahead and review those baits I was using to catch those fish today. This is the exact swim bait head and swim bait I was using. WARBAITS 1 ounce Ranger color, camo green with the orange bottom. And then we have a 5-inch swim bait, green top, and orange flake. Definitely a great Calico Bass color. 40-pound AFTCO leader line, Abu Garcia Revo Beast. Here's what it looks like when you guys get it in a store or if you order online. Our swim bait heads come in a 2-pack. Got the size indicator up top, color indicator down the side. And here's that surface iron I was using. It's a Kicker 25 light. You guys can see it's scratched up. It's used and abused. I do hash marks on my surface iron lures to let myself know which ones get bit the most, and this one has a total of 13. 100% stoked all the way around. Great little fishing adventure today. Just a quick morning, get out, and actually got some fish, so that's a good deal. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. I really appreciate all the support. If you guys want to purchase any of that WARBAITS stuff, it's warbaits.com. We got some limited edition head colors, and we have these nice hats right here. Thanks again for all the support. Get out there, go fishing, hook that giant.